I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what is happening. So what could possibly be going on here? Well, clearly the audience have written their own.
Yeah. He's wearing a rosette, so he's just won first prize in standing under a massive pigeon contest. Is he saying this isn't what I meant when I said I wanted to meet a big Geordie bird for messy fun?
Do you think it will be reflected in the next series of The Bodyguard, where he has to look after someone who is lactose intolerant? Seems like a great...
I don't believe it anyway. I think this is a new right-wing tactic. Anytime someone asks you a question you don't want to answer, just get a milkshake thrown at you by one of your team. Going, Farage, did you take donations from Aaron Banks? Bring in the milkshake! I need the something! It makes me feel so sorry for her, though, for Theresa May. Because she has just... All she's done as Prime Minister is just have the hardest job in the history of the world. I mean, a job so hard that the Prime Minister whose idea it was literally immediately got off the grid. It's ridiculous. All she's done for 3 years, she's been criticised for absolutely everything, from her negotiating to her clothes to her shoes, right? And then she finally tries to get one bit of respite, one bit, but just going, look, I'm just going to have a break, I'm just going to go abroad, and I'm going to do the one thing that still brings me an ounce of joy, dance. And we're all like, oh, you shit to that as well.
Okay. The first subject is race. Who wants to come on that?
I remember that day. The Interracial Arm Wrestling World Championships. I'm a white man. Thank you. I'm a white man, which means that a lot of people hate me these days. But I'm a white man, so it doesn't matter. Literally the same. Not just that, I'm a young, white, middle-class, straight man. In the game of life, that is what's called a royal flush. I hit the jackpot, OK? I got lucky as shit, so everyone thinks my life is easy. Everyone thinks I've got it simple, but that's because they don't know my struggle, OK? My day-to-day, the shit I have to deal with on a daily basis. Do you know how often I'm sat in a coffee shop and someone asks me to watch their laptop for them? Just let me live my life! Yes, I am trustworthy, but don't assume that based on my appearance, OK? That is still discrimination. And yes, in this Cafe Nero, surrounded by all these mums, I'm unlikely to steal your Dell computer when I'm clearly already using a MacBook Pro. A superior laptop. But don't get too relaxed. I could just easily steal that Dell and repurpose it as a gift for someone I don't respect. Hard part for me about being those 5 things, that royal flush, is being a comedian. That's the hard part, because you're constantly told art comes from pain, right? To make great art, you've got to experience pain along the way in childhood or whatever, then harness that pain, turn it into art down the line. But I don't know the meaning of the word pain. I've never experienced any true pain. First time I even saw the word pain, I was in a patisserie. Is it, what position in the job centre queue is Jeremy Kyle?
You know what? I mean, sounding oddly like a Jeremy Kyle audience.
Yeah. How ironic. You've become the one thing you hate.
The second half of this show is just proving Dara is my real dad.
Dara, you should have put something on the end of it.
Like his mother.
Is it... How many times when I've referred to my other half was I actually talking about my bum and legs? How many views does the world's least popular porn video have?
The question I was looking for was, how many troops is the US talking about sending to the Middle East should tensions continue to escalate with Iran? How did President Trump respond to perceived aggression in the Middle East?
By slamming his fist on the table like an angry baby.
He responded...
Well, aren't you the cutest little GCSG student? Oh, hello.
There you go. It is me, Ed Gamble. And if I go across a couple, it is me, Rob Beckett.
Unlikely lines from a sci-fi film or TV show.
OK, I've done it. The time machine is complete. Now, your mission is to go back to 1890 and milkshake baby Hitler. So I'm the blue Power Ranger, that's the green Power Ranger, that's the yellow Power Ranger, and over there is the white the Power Ranger who wears white. We're going to have to open up a wormhole and go back in time. I've just sent a dick pic to my dad. What's that? ET phone home? You were doing more than phoning, mate. Brexit means Brexit.
OK, our next topic is commercials that never made it to air.
Do you suffer from erectile dysfunction? Have you tried looking at boobs? STD clinics, because you don't know what you've got till it's gonorrhea. Want a great way to lose weight that's also good for the environment? Die. Wind chimes, for when your neighbours don't think you're enough of a fucking prick. Is it, how long was my granddad asleep for before I realised I could now afford a house?
On the one hand, that's quite cold, but also you're making a very strong generational point.
Yeah.
Rhys, your granddad's 35.
Is it, for how long did I live rent-free in a stranger's house by pretending I was on the TV show Hunted? Why does she need a handbag? She's in her own garden. What's it? What could be in there?
Like she's carrying her mace in case he tries to...
If you just focus on the front bit of the jacket, it looks like he's got the most obscene boner in history.
Really, I haven't seen that.
You can't not see it. You can't not see it now. Look, none of us have met the Queen. We don't know what it's like.
In other news, who was expelled from the Labour Party recently?
Alistair Campbell.
Yes, Alistair Campbell. Why?
He was expelled because he voted Lib Dem in the EU elections.
Is being expelled from the Labour Party like being expelled from school? Is Alistair Campbell going to turn up outside the gates of Labour on a BMX? Smoking a cigarette going, I got up at 10 a.m.
And the topic is philosophy.
I feel like people who say everything happens for a reason have never shit themselves on public transport. Love these phrases. Love the way people use these phrases now to be deep. The other day, we went to a friend's house. She had this poster, this like framed print of this phrase. It said, "Life is about the journey, not the destination." And I was like, obviously. The destination is death. Otherwise, that just says life is about death. And that's a bit heavy for your downstairs bathroom, as far as I'm concerned. Heard this one the other day, heard someone say, don't have regrets. You mustn't have regrets, because whatever you did was at one point exactly what you wanted. I was like, so? I'm an idiot. At one point, I paid for the Crazy Frog ringtone. I don't know shit. At one point, I bought a little chair for my old Nokia mobile phone. My judgment is abysmal. At one point, I sucked on the breast of my own mother. Doesn't mean I don't regret New Year's Eve 2012. People change. The way that karma has been hijacked by so many young people does my head, and all these young people all the time going, yeah, I believe in karma. I live my life by karma, because I believe if you do good things will happen to you. So that's why I do good things, so that good things will happen to me. And I think, well, then you're a piece of shit. Just do a good deed. Who lives their life like that? Constantly looking back, analysing, seeing if their good deed paid off and they got something good in return. You know, who's getting a promotion at work thinking, oh, that because I gave that bad old pair of trainers to Oxfam last week? You know, who's getting a hand job thinking, oh, that because I helped that old lady cross the street? That's not karma. That's just a very grateful old lady. When people say he's got the Tory leadership election in the bag, is this the bag they're talking about? Isn't it mad that Boris is just a man who once hosted a comedy panel show and soon he is going to be the leader of this country? Dara, you have wasted your power. You've had all this power built up and you just used it to make robots fight.
I'm playing a long game, mate. I'm playing a long game.
We're all burying the lead here. Rhys James from the future has come back to warn past Rhys James.
It's if Rhys hadn't been inflated to his proper pressure.
You're 22 psi Rhys James. That's what he is.
Ironically enough, he looks like me if I had done opium. And that is what he's in the news for.
Yeah, it
He
is
has done-
genuinely a refreshingly new scandal to
I mean, let's get that off the screen, shall we? Jeremy Hunt came out as well and said that he wanted to do a bit of one-upmanship, and Jeremy Hunt said that he had had a cannabis lassie.
Yes.
He was also on holiday. It's just so Tory, isn't it? It's like, oh, I didn't smoke weed, I had a cannabis lassie. Oh, I didn't do heroin, I did opium. Even when doing drugs, they sound like they got them from M&S.
Unlikely lines from a thriller.
Welcome to my haunted mansion. If these walls could talk, I'd almost certainly have masturbated less. I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to hand in your badge. A Blue Peter presenter cannot be caught wanking in the garden. Just when I thought the case couldn't get any worse, it didn't. Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? No, sorry, Romesh, you just got a lazy eye. It's quite hard to tell who you are.
Unlikely things to hear at an award show.
Welcome to the National Car Key Awards. But first, let's take a look at some of the keys we have lost this year. And now for Sat-Nav of the Year. And I can honestly say, without this Sat-Nav, I would not be where I am today. And there we have it, the winner of Saudi Thief of the Year. Please, give him a hand. Is it, how long would it have to take an Uber to arrive for me to give it 4 stars? Is it, for how long did my nan call me mate so it was less of a shock when I wasn't in her will?
What is the actual correct?
How long will the Royal Mail take to deliver postal votes over Christmas? This reminds me of the time that my family had to get rid of a load of uninflated 90th birthday balloons. Right, look, every week you tweet in saying, bring back Frankie. What do you want?
I'm just a bit worried that Rhys seems a bit down on the election. I'm wondering, is that because 16-year-olds...
I don't know why they didn't let 16-year-olds vote. I mean, just call the bluff. Right, just because you're allowed to do something when you're 16 doesn't mean you're going to do it, right?
Yeah.
And I know that because you're allowed to have sex when you're 16.
In other news, which influential figure in Parliament stepped down this week?
John Bercow.
John Bercow did step down this week, yes.
I didn't know that his name was Bercow. I thought he was called John Burke, and it's just he's got a really laddie nickname. Years, I'm thinking it was Bercow!
Welcome to Burkmeister! Burke and Sheen in the house.
He sort of does the same job as you, doesn't he?
Yeah, good guy.
He just sort of sits there, kind of moving it along, giving out sort of fake points that don't mean anything, and he absolutely refuses to stand up.
Would you do the job, Dara? Would you take
the Speaker of the House
Yes.
of Parliament?
Instead of shouting order, you could just press your little buzzer.
I feel what's going on here?
Is this the annual meeting of people who'd ask you which motorway you took to get there? They're all looking in different directions, slightly. Just slightly.
Just like, yeah.
So, like, are all their mums with different cameras on the other side of that?
Things you wouldn't hear over a tannoy.
And if you look out of the window on your left, you will see Christ the Redeemer, because I've crashed the plane and this is the afterlife. Just a reminder that when we asked you to report anything that doesn't look right, we meant sort of like terrorist stuff, not just a baby wearing ripped jeans. This is your train driver. I don't wish to alarm you, but it seems that we have travelled into space. Now, nobody... Nighttime again.
Okay. Next topic is unlikely lines from a blockbuster movie.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius. Sorry? Yes, I did go to private school. How'd you know that? Do you want to know why they call me the Riddler? It's because all of my partners are riddled with STDs.
I've never seen a foreskin.
He looks like he's just come out of a toilet he's left in awful smelling. So is he saying, I'd leave means leave it a minute if I was... Is this CGI of what Homer Simpson would look like if he was a man?
Farage announced that his party will field more than 600 candidates, although he himself will not be standing for election. What did you think of his strategy, of his launch?
Well, it's weird because he's saying that he's going to field 600 candidates, but he's not standing himself, and he also won't tell us any of their names. I'm going to wager that all of these 600 candidates look a lot like Nigel Farage wearing different hats.
He also, I don't think this can't be right. He can't be that much taller than everyone else.
But that's why they're standing, isn't it? Because a lot of these are like, the average age of them is like 70. So they're just doing it because they know that Parliament's got central heating. He shouldn't be in politics. He's a radio DJ. What has he got to do with it? That's his job now. Imagine if Tim Westwood had this kind of influence. Imagine if Tim Westwood was like, I'm going to get 600 of my crew, baby. We're going to... Brexit means Brexit. How many times when trying to buy alcohol have I had to say the phrase, would a 17-year-old have a nectar card? If there's any rugby fans watching this wondering why we're not taking it seriously, comedian is the job you do when the rugby players bully you. He's got all these pets, hasn't he? I read that. He's got all these pets. He's got a parrot called Boris, which is named after Boris Johnson, as if to say he just repeats stuff all the time. He's probably got a snake called Gove, because he's a backstabber. He's probably got a cat called Corbyn, because cats can't decide if they want to be in or out. Is this the world's most difficult to claim insurance?
Per reason of damage.
Yeah, thank heavens there's a photograph, because really, in 80 words or less...
Does this count as a major or a minor on your driving test? Well, your three-point term was exceptional, but an elephant did shag the car.
It's the answer to the question, what you gonna do with all that junk inside your trunk?
Possibly it's just one of the challenges on Taskmaster.
Yeah, you could say they're having a whale of a time. What are we doing?
Unlikely things to hear in a religious programme.
And Jesus was born in a manger, surrounded by sandwiches and cappuccinos, for this was a Preta manger. Welcome to the show in which a man wearing a turban will help you when you can't get through the chain barriers. This is Seek Assistance. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And then he created Eve, but he didn't fancy her, so he switched off his light, because no likey, no lighty.
The next topic is things a sports commentator would never say.
Ronaldo there, being booked by the referee for taking his shirt off. He should know the rules by now. You are not allowed to take the referee's shirt off. Judges there, all very impressed. A textbook reverse tuck. You're watching RuPaul's Drag Race. And he has rested the ball there perfectly on the cushion. This really is a lovely new saddle they've made for Lance Armstrong. Oh, and here they come, running onto the field, completely naked, wearing nothing but shoes. This is an absolute... Sorry? I'm being informed that horses always look like that. This is my first time doing the ground.
At the end of that round, the points go to Olga, Hugh and Rhys.